Hot Mic is brought to you by Red Wing Shoes of Fargo. Built to last. 3003 Main Avenue, Fargo.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good morning, everybody. When they say, watch where you're walking, I get a test. Make sure. Down like a house of cards this morning in the palatial Izzo driveway. Nice to know that Cooper was wondering, are you going to get up so I can go to the bathroom? You know, Lydia said it, too. She said it flat out on First News. The sidewalks, driveways are slippery. Well, South Moorhead, that is certainly the case. That is our highlight of the day. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Hot Mic here on a Thursday morning, the 5th of March, 2026. Great to be with everyone as we steamroll towards the madness. It begins officially across the state, whether in Minot, Jamestown, here in town. We got tournaments galore. Sioux Falls obviously got going last night. I'm heading there right after the show, about 11:05 after we wrap up to get down to Sioux Falls to cover the Bison women's game coming up at 2:30 this afternoon against Omaha. We'll preview that with our guy Jory Collins coming up later on in the show. Lots to get to today. The state hockey tournament, day 2. It's the AA. The Moorhead Spuds will hit the ice tonight about 6, I'd say after the introductions, about 6:20 at their game at Grand Casino Arena against Lakeville South, as we'll see if they can begin their quest for repeat championships. So I mentioned it on Monday, our busiest week of the year. I'll reaffirm it today because we've got 8 quarterfinals in girls basketball happening. You've got 4 quarterfinals of the Summer League tournament. We've got state hockey going on. We've got EDC semifinals tonight in the girls. It's elimination games for girls hoops as well. So there's just a little bit going on. And then immediately my attention to start the show was grabbed by an article from Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports great college football reporter, with the headline, College Football's Bowl Season Needs an Overhaul. Here's one intriguing proposal and what could be next. And this is something we've talked about long before North Dakota State's ascension to the Mountain West Conference and moving into now the FBS and bowl games being now relevant for us here. There is all sorts of conversation. We've talked about, the bowl games are going to go away and all this, which I never have subscribed to, knowing full well what the television part of this is, because the ratings for it have been crazy. Listen to this, what Dellinger is reporting. The leaders of the power conferences have been exploring proposals to dramatically change the financial structure and selection process of the non-CFP bowl games, at least those tied to the Big 12, SEC, ACC, and Big 10. A consortium of 10 bowl games, each pitting power conference programs, would be created and potentially sold on the open market, with its television rights controlled by the conferences themselves instead of the bowls. Presumably, these games, will be played in existing bowls, but their participants would vary as the bowl system untethers from its traditional conference affiliation. So this means an SEC team in the Alamo or the Holiday Bowl. What about a Big 12 team at the Citrus or the Gator Bowl? So that's potentially down the line. Now, how does this affect what happens with a group of 6 teams? Dellinger adds, the proposals in the early stages of socialization among college stakeholders and ESPN, the primary bowl game television partner who's been a part of the proposal itself. A target for any bowl remake is 2027. Mountain West Commissioner Gloria Navarez, when I asked her about the bowl tie-in, she says it's a year deal here. Knowing that there potentially was some shakeup coming, this would allude to that, because The Mountain West lost the LA Bowl. That folded. The Mountain West champion, Boise State, went there last year to SoFi Stadium. They played Washington. This year's upcoming bowl slate isn't expected to undergo major changes. Despite most bowl contracts expiring this year, bowls hold contracts with TV partners and specific conferences. Many of them are extending deals by only a year, and that leads to what Navarre has told us, given the uncertainty of the CFP expansion conversation, which continues. The SEC and the Big Ten are going back and forth about going to 16 or 24. In fact, the number of CFP teams may determine exactly what happens with this Power Conference Bowl proposal. A move to 24 teams, the Big Ten's plan, may see very few Power Conference games bowl games existing in the future, but remaining at 12 or 16 paves a path for their survival. What happens to the other bowls? 2 bowls shuttered recently, LA and Detroit, and a third, the Bahamas, is relocated. 6 bowls are part of the CFP. And this proposal, 10 or so bowls, will be part of the new consortium. That leaves more than 20 bowl games, many of them pitting group of 6 teams or group of 6 against Power League teams. Most of them, 17 of them, are owned by ESPN. Playoff expansion has further exacerbated a long-running narrative the bowls are slipping into irrelevancy, but that's not necessarily the case considering television viewership. All non-CFP bowls last year averaged more than 3 million viewers a game. Let me say that again. All non-CFP bowls. So that's the Potato Bowl. That's the Pop-Tarts Bowl. That's the Arizona Bowl. That's the New Mexico Bowl. That's higher than any FCS game, folks. Higher than the FCS championship game. Average more than 3 million viewers a game. And though that figure is buoyed by all Power League bowls, some of the group of 6 games earned well over 1 million viewers. Again, what are we talking about here? That's higher than most FCS games. Higher than an FCS championship game not too long ago. Their future may depend on ESPN, which again owns most of them. Does it need these games to fill television windows during the holidays? Most would say yes, unless the playoff gets big enough that windows start to fill. Experts believe it is unlikely that many other networks would buy these bowls. It may even be unlikely that others seriously bid on the proposed consortium of 10 P4 bowls. It gets down the TV rabbit hole here that some know about. But it's intriguing to hear that, again, college football is tinkering once again with its postseason. I would find it hard to believe that those games would just vanish. And again, if they do, again leads credence to that group of 6 going and deciding maybe they're going to have their own postseason, which again makes the sense that why North Dakota State, Sacramento State wanted in the party in there. So a lot of word salad in that. Just be aware that there looks like there may be some bowl changes other way. Dellinger ends it with this. If you're wondering how valuable the television a bowl game is, look to the cash that each game distributes to the conferences of participants. They range widely from $250,000 to more than $8 million. The top 10 non-CFP bowls, all pitting power conference teams against each other, paid out more than a combined $50 million last year. Either way, bowl games appear to have a future. There is light at the end of the proverbial tunnel, at least for now. So, there you go. We'll see. Again, this is down the road. North Dakota State would have to first win 6 games and be, quote, have enough teams be elect not to participate. Maybe that changes now if they decide to go on this way for 2027. At least for 26, nothing's changing, according to Dellinger. 27 would be when everything could potentially blow up. So, interesting to note there to start our show. Just another thing for us to pay attention to on this move. We have a packed show coming up. We'll get to everything here. Let's unpack what we saw from day one at the Summit League tournament. These were the play-in games yesterday in Sioux Falls. The only reason we're paying attention because North Dakota State is going to play the winner of both of these. We'll start on the men's side with Oral Roberts in Kansas City. These two teams played on Saturday in Kansas City. Golden Eagles won by 25. Oral Roberts actually might be, quote-unquote, the hottest team coming into Sioux Falls. They had won 3 in a row. And Golden Eagles have got their act together. Ty Harper, number 1 there, who had 47 last week, was again filling it up for the Golden Eagles last night. Drained a couple of threes there. Connor Dow from downtown put Oral Roberts up by as many as 25. They led this game. It was outrageous at halftime. They were running away from from Kansas City. Got up by as many as 26. That's the score in the second half. Another three goes. That put the lead up to 23. They're dunking there on this one from Luke Gray on the finish. Pull-up three from Connor Dow. He made three of them last night. Golden Eagles roll 84-62. Marvin Menzies' tenure at Kansas City is done. He was dismissed in January. Mark Turgeon will be the new head coach at Kansas City starting next year. So, Oral Roberts, the 8th seed, moves on. They'll play North Dakota State tonight at the Premier Center at 6 o'clock. We'll be there for highlights, coverage coming up later. Bison won both matchups against Oral Roberts. You remember, though, the first game here in Fargo, a double overtime thriller that NDSU needed a Noah Feddersen basket with 0.4 of a second remaining in double overtime to win that game. The second game in Tulsa is the Tay Smith game. Smith had 8 3-pointers, filling in for Damari Wheeler-Thomas, who missed that game with an ankle injury as the Bison rolled there. The late game tonight is South Dakota State and St. Thomas. Awfully intrigued about that game. St. Thomas, I believe, will win. I am intrigued to see, the crowd tonight with the Jackrabbits as a prohibitive underdog. South Dakota State has not been in this position, frankly, since the tournament started coming to Sioux Falls. The Jacks were, 2009, were in that middle part of the range, but never as a 7 seed. That's the circumstances tonight on the men's side. On the women's side, yesterday the play-in game featured North Dakota as the 9 seed facing Omaha as the 8. Mackenzie Hughes, the pride of Thompson, scores. UND was held to 3 points. 3 points after the first quarter. It was 11-3. Not ideal. Omaha was made its shots. Sarai Estupinian knocks down offense was hard to come by. Allie Stevens was the best player on the floor yesterday. She had 3 threes for Omaha. This a big one. That made it a 15-point lead, which the way UND offensively was going to be insurmountable. Stevens hit 3 threes in the second half at 17 points. Omaha beats UND 49-39 the final to send the Mavericks, who did not have a Division I win until they beat UND in late January, into the quarterfinals. The Fighting Hawks season ends at 7-24. There are going to be some significant questions about what happens in Grand Forks. Dennis Hutter's been on this show. Good guy. Coached well at Mayville State. Inherited the job after Mallory Bernhardt stepped down after last year. Does he continue is a question that I have to ask Bill Chaves. It was a rough year in Grand Forks for women's basketball. Here's the updated bracket. Omaha, North Dakota State coming up today at 2:30. The Bison won both games against Omaha by 50+. We'll visit with Jory Collins about the matchup with the Mavericks coming up later on in our show. The first game, South Dakota State will start things today at noon against Kansas City. That's the 2-7 matchup. I expect there will be a big crowd for that game on a Thursday at noon. What else you doing in Sioux Falls? The Bison will play after that. Tomorrow's games will feature Denver and South Dakota, followed by St. Thomas and Oral Roberts. We'll see. With the way the weather is already today, I don't know if that's going to impact some people getting down. I hope not. That'll lead to our poll question here in a second. Let's do our guest lineup, which is brought to us by Northwestern Mutual each and every Thursday. Coming up here a little earlier than normal because they got shoot-around going on. Jory Collins will join us at 9:30. Chat about him winning Coach of the Year honors. Big deal for him. I know he'll deflect that, but we'll chat about that and obviously the matchup with Omaha coming up at 9:30. Sam Goetzinger will join us live on location from Jamestown at 10 as the Class A tournament officially tips today. Sam will be on the call of that. Give us the lowdown of the teams to beat. One of those teams to beat might be South Prairie. Their head coach, Cory MacIver, will join us as the Royals are the 1 seed. They have been the number 1 team in Class A girls basketball in North Dakota this entire season. They have Riley Rutledge leading their team, who's a North Dakota State women's basketball commit for the class of 2027. We'll visit with Cory about his team and the matchup today. They've got Watford City out of the chute. That's the 6:30 game coming up tonight. The Class A tournament you'll see exclusively here on WDAY Extra. Now, before we go to break, I posed this question on our Hot Mic Twitter feed yesterday, and we're going to let this run for a bit, but we've already got some great responses and a ton of people voting. The question is, for Bison fans, specifically, why are you not going to Sioux Falls for the Summit League basketball tournament? The first one I put it there almost as it's probably a cheap shot, is too far away, knowing full well that fans have gone to Frisco or anywhere else for football. Too many things going on, didn't know about it, or not interested. You can see we've already got half 100 votes. We'll read some of the replies as well as the show goes on today. But I'm not anticipating, at least today, which is too bad, a big Bison crowd. Now, if both Bison teams win, then maybe that changes on Saturday because each team would have the day off tomorrow. Some have told me I'm not coming unless somebody's playing Sunday. Fair enough. We'll see. But feel free to vote, and we'll have all the results on that before we say goodbye on this Thursday. We'll take our first break. We come back. We'll try and lay out the TV plans, the streaming plans for everybody, and get ahead of the comments I know that are coming. Hot Mic is off and rolling. We're back live on WDAY Extra and Inforum.com right after this. Welcome back, everybody. All right, so we've got 3 separate basketball tournaments happening on our networks today, so we'll try and piece this together and explain as easy as we can. So the Class A tournament begins today out in Jamestown. Those games will be seen, the quarterfinals, all of them right here on WDAY Extra, starting at 1 o'clock, and then back for the evening session at 6:30. If you want to stream them, you can do that on WDAY+. But if you're looking, hey, on television, I want to watch just the girls' Class A, everything will be here on Extra. That's channel 596 on Midco, maybe 592, depending on where you live in the state. But Extra is free over the air on almost every cable system in the state, also in Minnesota as well. That's where you'll find the Class A. The Class B also begins today out in Minot. You can watch coverage of that on WDAY or your ABC affiliate over the air for free, beginning at 1 o'clock today from the Minot State Dome. Same times for those games today. 1 o'clock, about 2:45 for the second game, and then back in the evening session at 6:30 and 8:15 to wrap things up. Again, all those games live on WDAY, WDAZ, KBMY, KMCY, depending where you live. If it's Bismarck, Dickinson, Williston, Minot, even Beach, for our friends out there, you can watch the games on your ABC station for today at the Class B. Also, the EDC basketball tournament resumes at the Shack today. Today, the girls will take center stage with 4 games, 2 loser-out games, and 2 EDC semifinal games. Those are exclusive on WDAY+ on our streaming service. Either you can watch it on your phone, tablet that way. You can also stream it at Inforum.com. Yes, you have to pay for it. I will get to that in a second. But those games start at 2 o'clock today, and those are rolling times there. We go 2 about 3:45, then 6 o'clock for the first semifinal, probably about 7:45 for the second semifinal. Those are the girls today on the EDC side of things. Now, I put out a tweet yesterday in full preparation of what's to come, because invariably we've done this now. This is our 15th year of televising the state tournament games. And I wrote, preparing for the annual tweets and emails regarding, I can't believe we have to pay to watch the state tournament. Because I saw a couple comments yesterday because Minnesota's state hockey tournament got going. So, how glorious is this that Minnesota is free? And I said, I'm done explaining. It's 2026. NFL games aren't free anymore either. We've done it this way since 2014. Adapt or die. And that last part comes from, first off, the movie Moneyball, if anybody's seen that, with Brad Pitt portraying Oakland A's general manager Billy Beane, telling his scouts, coaching staff, adapt or die. Tim Miles said the same thing to me when he came here talking about NIL and talking to a elder group of Bison football, basketball fans about getting on board with NIL. And I use the same phrase here, and I had people saying, "Oh, I can't believe you said that. You better apologize for saying adapt or die." I'm not going to apologize for that. It's exactly where we're at. You either adapt and move forward, or you're going to fade away. That's the point of what I was trying to get to. And I had other people, I can't believe, are you really comparing the state tournament to the National Football League? And I'm drawing the comparison that in this day and age, you have to pay for Netflix, you have to pay for Amazon Prime, you have to pay for Peacock to watch NFL games. You also have to pay to watch ours. And the other one, the coup de grace I got was to stop exploiting high school athletes, which I completely don't. I just disagree with every fiber of my being on that. This is our business model. Fine that KSTC and KSTP, they have a different model for how they do it. Great, awesome for them. I would even go talk to our friends at the PSP network in Minot, who did things for free. Because I heard plenty from our viewers of ours out west saying, well, PSP's for free, and they had to change their business model. They did. They went to a subscription model, right? Because it wasn't working for free. And the ones that can do it, more power to you. This is the one we have used. It's worked for us. I believe I was told yesterday we had over 900 subscriptions signed up for hockey. For hockey. Wrestling did amazingly well. So am I going to apologize for that? No way. It's capitalism, the way it works. I think more people now are on board with especially paying for live sports in 2026 than ever. 2014, I get it. It was rough. The amount of phone calls I would get, emails I would get was just over the top. And I'm sure we'll get a handful today. And I purposely stirred up the hornet's nest on this one. I will freely admit to that because I put it out there. And I'm sure we'll get some, and I will get a few today as even I'm driving to Sioux Falls about it for people trying to find the games. But I will contend this. Both of these tournaments that we have on today, at least in the state tournament format for the girls Class A and girls Class B, are free over the air and on network television. There aren't any states in the Continental 48, I can tell you, that are putting their high school state tournaments on network television, preempting, unfortunately, for people that like to watch Grey's Anatomy tonight. No, we're preempting that, or preempting daytime programming to put on state tournaments. Our friends in South Dakota, that goes on public television. In Minnesota, that's on a sub-channel. It's not on the main KSTP channel. Ours and Extra is available statewide. As we well know, people watch this show that tell me that watch it from Montana to the borders of North Dakota and Montana to deep into Minnesota. So, rant over. It's the way it is in 2026, folks. That's where we're at. Enjoy the games. Broadcasts are going to be top quality on that. Let's break. We'll do it a little bit early because our guy Jory Collins is on the bus as the Bison are getting ready for their shoot-around for their game today with Omaha. We'll visit with the Bison women's basketball head coach when we come back on a Thursday morning edition of Hot Mike right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Looking at video of our guy Jory Collins, who on Tuesday was named the Summit League Coach of the Year. First time that's happened in the Division I era for Bison women's basketball. That the head coach is named the top coach. The Bison women getting ready for their Summit League opener coming up later today at 2:30. The man himself is on the bus. Normally joins us each and every Thursday. First off, the sun is out. It's all foggy and gross out here. I can't wait then to get to Sioux Falls. It looks like it's pretty darn nice down there.
It's beautiful out here. I think 45 degrees already. Probably
Let's
getting
go.
to the 50s today. It's a good day.
Let's go. All right, let's get it out of the way because I know you're going to deflect it, but congratulations on Coach of the Year. How big a deal is that for you personally?
I don't know. I'm never good with those kind of things. Obviously it's a great reflection of the regular season that we had. Those things happen when you have good people around you, a good team, great players, great coaches. And we definitely had that this year. I've had as much fun coaching this particular group as any that I've had in my 15 years as a head coach. And obviously that's just some icing, on the cake there.
All right, so let's get to the matter at hand. I know a lot of viewers were at the game or watching the game Saturday, Jory, and saw Jossie not play. Can you give us an update on where Jossie's at for today's game?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting ready to do shoot around here. She's probably going to be a game time decision, Dom. We'll see how she looks in shoot around, and then just decide from there. I mean, obviously, we're our mindset is this is a long weekend tournament, and so we're trying to play for the long haul. And we're just going to make those decisions probably as we get right up to game time to see how she handles shoot around and warm up.
So was it a freak thing that happened Saturday? Can you tell us what actually went down Saturday from what you saw or know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were just in shoot around, and we usually at the end of shoot around go over, we're guarding the other team's action against our scout team, and just stepped on a foot, just a kind of a freak thing. And, that particular day, it was only a few hours before we actually tipped it off. So not a lot of time to, prepare without her. And she's been doing stuff in practice this week. It's not like she's been in a boot or on crutches. I mean, it's nothing like that. It's, again, we're trying to play, for a long weekend here. They got 3 games in mind. Obviously got to take care of business day one, but we're just going to play it out and try to do the best thing by her.
If she can't go, Jory, how does that change your starting lineup? Who would go in if Jossie can't play?
Well, we'll probably start Carrie at the 4 and maybe move AK to the 3. We have the player versatility. Abby Kraswinski is really good at doing whatever we need her to do. So, we've been able to practice that way this week quite a bit.
All right, so you got down there yesterday. How much did you go to the game, the Omaha UND game? Did you need to scout? Like, how did you evaluate for that game yesterday?
Yeah, our whole team went. We checked in, went and watched the game. Obviously, you're trying to be prepared for both teams and do what you need to do there. Obviously, UND was super fresh. So really watching a lot of Omaha just because it'd been, a little bit longer since we saw them. But got to do that, went out to a nice dinner, met last night as a team, got up this morning, film and scout on Omaha and getting ready to get in there and get 40 minutes worth of practice on them.
Now, obviously, Omaha, you guys have handled both times. How are they any different what you saw yesterday from the last time you played them about a month ago?
Yeah, they are. Coach Jamie Carey has done a fantastic job. They're playing their best basketball here in the last month of the season. Which in my opinion is not easy to do when you kind of had the year that you've had. So when I watch a team and see them playing with a passion and smiles on their face at this point in the year, that's always dangerous. Teams that are playing free-spirited with nothing to lose and going out and just having fun. So I give her a lot of credit for keeping her team dialed in here late in the year.
Well, they had a stat line a couple weeks ago. A player had 40, a player had 30, and a player had 20 rebounds. I mean, that hadn't happened in any level of basketball in like 20 years or something crazy like that.
I mean, just something you've never seen. I mean, I think they had 4 people score in the game. A 40-piece, a 30-piece, and then another person got 20 rebounds. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Avril Smith is their rebounding machine. She's just a freshman. What makes her such a rebound magnet, Jory?
Well, a couple different things. One, she just pursues the basketball. She's pretty relentless, just chasing it down. I also think she has, like most great rebounders, she has an innate feel for seeing it off the rim and anticipating. You remember Dennis Rodman just used to run to the right spot, when could see where the ball was going to come off before it hit the rim. She's got a little of that in her. She knows how to tip it up to herself and then go get it out of traffic. Just some really, really good feel for how to do that particular part of basketball, and obviously she's rebounded at a really high level all year.
I really like Reagan Judeman's game as well. What makes her elusive or slippery? Because she can shoot from outside as well.
Well, she's just super skilled. Yeah. she's somebody that we've seen play for a long time in high school too, and knew that she could shoot the heck out of it. She's just somebody you can't give too much space. It's almost automatic. She's put in so much time in her shooting that, open shots are pretty much going down. And, she got a 40-piece a week or two ago and got off entirely way too many threes for me if we're playing against her. So that will definitely be an emphasis today.
Is there an inherent, not necessarily, maybe an advantage of them? They played, they've been on the floor. Do they have that now getting ready to face your team today?
I think about that and the way we do our tournament, and maybe, feel for playing on the big floor. You just got to do it yesterday. You could see the start of the game yesterday, I think, between both teams. The first 6 shots hit off the backboard and were shot 4 feet too hard. I mean, I think that's just natural, adrenaline going into the tournament. So that, may be gone for them. At the same time, they just had to play 24 hours ago,
right?
And right back out. And hopefully we have some juice and burst and ready to play fast today.
Bringing the Summit League Player of the Year with you. I know we talked, a couple of years ago when Avery Coonan was just starting to blossom. I remember this time 2 years ago, actually, at the Summit League tournament of her. Boy, this can be really, really good. I know you said to me even earlier this week, there's still more to get to, but just describe in whole, Jory, what year Avery's had for you.
Oh, I mean, it's one of the best seasons of any player that I've ever had, probably a top 2 or 3 individual season. And then for sure the best, I think Division I era season that we've had in NDSU women's basketball. So just, for the consistency that she's been able to play at an extremely high level, but consistently at that level, Dom. Again, I always go back to who she is as a person. She's a consistent person off the floor that leads to consistent in your performance, whether it's basketball or job related. And she's just been somebody we've been able to rely on day in and day out.
How about the fact, knowing full well the defenses are certainly going to put 2 players on her, and just knowing full well that's coming, how she's adjusted to that all season long?
Yeah, that's probably where she's grown the most, is just having some more feel for the game. Again, when you play smaller town, high school ball, and not the biggest AAU, you're just not put in scenarios where, athletes are matching up to you very much.
Mm-hmm.
And you can dominate physically for the most part. And then you get to this level and, hey, everybody's big and strong. Coaches have plans against you. How can you navigate that and work through and around that and still be productive? And I think that's where she's probably made the most jump this year, is just having a much better feel for how teams are playing her, what she's expecting, where her teammates are going to be, and then being able to take advantage of those scenarios.
Obviously, you've been down here 6 previous times. Tell me about that first game. I don't know if it's jitter vibe of being out there and dealing with that, maybe to that first media timeout. How do you account for that today?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to talk to your team. Hey, everybody's going to be, super juiced up with adrenaline the first 2 or 3 minutes. It's how do you channel that? Can you channel that into defense and communication more than, hey, I need to get a shot off, and then let yourself just settle into the game. And we will. We've had a team that's been, mentally really dialed in for a really long time. I expect them to come in and be ourselves today. Doing
this as, quote unquote, the supposed favorite, the 1 seed, is there, I don't know if added pressure, but that comes with it, right? I know you've talked to me about this before. That comes with being the 1 seed and the regular season champion, is people expect us to make it and be there for a few days this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, when you talk about that kind of stuff, there's no person or outside of our program, Dom, that's going to put any more pressure on our team than I do myself, or that our players do for ourselves, and what our expectations are. So, what other people think we should or shouldn't do is a complete non-factor. Our players are dialed into going out and playing the best basketball we can today about 2:30. And just going and putting our best foot forward.
You've done March forever. What do you love about it? What do you hate? I know what you hate about it. What do you love about the month of March, though, the most?
Yeah, it's just like a renewed sense of urgency. It's a fresh start for every team. It's a blank slate. You get to build on, what you've done in the regular season. If it went great, then you jump from there. If it wasn't great, you get a fresh start.
Yeah.
And it's tournament time, so anything can happen, and there's obviously always anticipation about that.
Knowing that what's out there, the potential for an NCAA tournament berth as well. I mean, Do you embrace that? Are you thinking about it? Like, I know we got to worry about Omaha, but that obviously that carrot is out there, Jory, at the end of the weekend.
Yeah, but that's not what you're coming here thinking about. I mean, you're coming here to win games and play basketball, and that's obviously what you get for winning the tournament. But if you come in here thinking about the NCAA tournament, you're going to get your butt beat in a basketball game that you got to go out and play in, today and Friday and Saturday. So it's really just being, kind of laser focused on what the task is at hand. And then at the end, if you're there, then that's awesome.
I got an email to ask Dom, yes, Jory, what he did with the net. What did you do with the net after you cut it down on Saturday? Where's it at?
Still sitting in our coach's locker room. So I think we get the real regular season trophy while we're here this week.
Okay.
So we'll match those up together and hopefully get them in the trophy case.
All right. So what's I'm going to let you go here in a second. I know you got to get off the bus. What's the shoot-around plan? What do you got going on here for the next little bit?
Thank you. We've got 40 minutes here, so it's timed up. Go in and get ourselves loose, go over a couple things with Omaha, and just get our minds right.
Look at this, right off the bus. I'll see you later today. Save me a parking spot, okay?
Got you.
We'll see you later, bud. Thanks for the time.
Okay. Yep, you bet.
Jory Collins. How about that? Right off the bus, right to shoot around. Bison have that coming up, and then the game at 2:30 with Omaha. Again, repeating what he said on Jossie Schiller. Game time decision. Going to see how shoot around goes here, but that how he implied that made it seem to me that she probably won't play today. That they, and this is something that I said earlier in the week, that this is something that they probably can get by. They think if they should be able to get by Omaha, frankly, without Jossie. And I know Omaha's playing better, but Omaha won 6 games all season long. That I'm implying that as we get there, I would be surprised if number 30 is playing. Now, and they get the extra day off, and then she's full go maybe on Saturday for the semifinal game at noon. We'll see, but that's how I took from what he said there. But Collins saying game time decision for Jossie Schiller, of course. Tweaked that ankle in shoot-around on Saturday for the finale against UND. I will say, though, they are a completely different team without her. They're good, but they're not lethal like they are with Schiller. That she just took them to a whole other level. That team last year, and Asp adds a different element too. Carrington is very athletic, and that is going to seem as a shot or a slight to Abby Draper and Abby Schulte. It's not just she's more athletic than both those players and adds a different element on the floor. So there's the latest update from the Bison women's basketball head coach. I'm more impressed that there was beautiful sun out there, blue sky. Like, sign me up for that, seeing what we got here in Fargo, knowing I got to hit the road here in a little bit, that hopefully that changes by the time maybe we get out of North Dakota and get further south. But we'll see. Again, Summer League tournament starts at noon, South Dakota State and Kansas City, the first game, the Bison game, roughly 2:30 against Omaha. Those games being televised by Midco here today on the opening day of the quarterfinals at the Premier Center in Sioux Falls. All right, let's break. We come back. We'll wrap up our first hour. Big second hour plan. We're heading to Jamestown twice over to get ready for the opening day of the Class A. Back on Hot Mic on WDAY Extra after this. All right, wrapping up our first hour. Thanks to Jory Collins for giving us some time literally on the bus and off the bus as the Bison get ready for their game with Omaha. Let's get a couple emails in here before we wrap up our first hour. Dom, you left off the most obvious answer from your poll question today. Not going because I can stay at home and watch it on television. Yeah, I figured that would be the case for some as well. Good morning, Dom. In the midst of all that you have going on now, all I want to say is thanks again for all that you and the staff do to keep us entertained. It is much appreciated, and look forward to all the great sporting events. A great job, well done. Well, we haven't done it yet. We've got 2 in the books. We got wrestling and hockey done. Now we got our basketball load coming here for the next 3 weeks. But I appreciate the good words there from a frequent viewer to our show. McFeely and I were texting on that bowl story, and Mike asked me, which I didn't know the answer to this, and I looked it up. How many bowl matchups typically are Power 4 versus G6 anyway? Last year, there were 11. 2 of them were CFP games. So let's not count that because obviously you have the highest rated G6 team make the playoff. And actually this past year you had 2 with James Madison and Tulane. Here were the games. The LA Bowl, which we know has gone the way of the dodo. That was Washington out of the Big Ten against Boise State out of the Mountain West. You had the Gasparilla Bowl, North Carolina State out of the ACC against Memphis out of the American. The Idaho Potato Bowl, Washington State, which they consider a Power 6. I guess they consider it's a P5, whatever, against Utah State out of the Mountain West. The Boca Raton Bowl, Louisville out of the ACC against Toledo out of the MAC. The Hawaii Bowl, Cal out of the ACC, still hard for me to say that, and Hawaii out of the Mountain West. You had the Game Above Sports Bowl. That one is gone. That's Detroit. Was Northwestern out of the Big Ten against Central Michigan out of the MAC. The Rate Bowl, which was Minnesota, the Gophers against New Mexico out of the Mountain West. Now remember, New Mexico wasn't their first choice. They wanted Iowa State or Kansas State, and both bailed because they didn't have enough players. The Military Bowl was Pitt out of the ACC against East Carolina out of the American, and then I mentioned the 2 CFP games. So, I mean, that's the number there. Will those go away under this new format if they're going to pit Power 4 against Power 4? Likely. But again, what's to stop for the G6 teams from matching up against each other, a good American versus Mountain West game, something like that? They're not. The point is on this, folks, they're not going anywhere. I don't see that happening. So we'll see. But that's awfully intriguing on the future of what's to come with college football bowl games there. I mean, I'm just going to be crazy to see what transpires on that. Let's get a couple NFL news and notes here. We chatted yesterday on the show on the Kyler Murray rumors swimming around the Vikings on that. They also now, the Vikes are planning to release Jonathan Allen. Ben Gessling from the Star-Tribune reporting that, according to a source with knowledge of the situation, the team plans to release defensive tackle Jonathan Allen by the start of the league year next week. The Vikings signed Allen to a 3-year, $51 million contract a year ago in hopes of bolstering their interior pass rush, but they're set to let go of the 31-year-old after he posted only 3.5 sacks and 11 quarterback hits last season. That's on top of the fact we know that Aaron Jones is going to be let go, that Javon Hargrave is going to be let go. They are looking for trade partners for Jonathan Grenard. I mean, this is not a quick fix. This seems like a rebuild that's happening with the Vikings. Gessling adds the Vikings had also decided to cut or restructure the contracts of tight end T.J. Hawkinson, which seemed like a no-brainer after the year that they were going to let Hawkinson go for the amount of money that he was getting paid, and center Ryan Kelly, while considering a contract extension for Brian O'Neill that could reduce the right tackle's $23.12 million cap hit. The Vikings will need to free up enough space to pursue a veteran quarterback who could challenge or supplant J.J. McCarthy, though release candidates like Arizona's Kyler Murray or Las Vegas's Geno Smith could come cheap to the Vikings because of offset language in contracts with their former teams. Murray could literally get paid like over $1 million because the Cardinals are paying him $35 million. That could offset what happens there. So we are in the throes of basketball right now, right? It is basketball heavy. Let's go. But come Monday, when the tampering period begins, basically that's when free agency starts. Like, buckle up. It's going to be crazy for some teams. Now, I don't anticipate the Vikings, though, to be one of them. They have been over the last handful of years. Minnesota has been wheeling and dealing, whether it be the Sam Darnold deal. We were in Sioux Falls. I remember talking about it, sitting there 2 years ago. We're in Sioux Falls when Sam Darnold signed, when they got Van Ginkel, which I have always liked that move, and they got Grenard. I distinctly remember we were in Sioux Falls when all that went down. Like, those are three. I like those moves. And now that they have to cut bait with 2 guys that they just signed last year, 3 guys they signed last year, Kelly, Hargrave, and Allen. Again, not a flattering picture of what what happened with Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. And on top of, obviously, the quarterback mess, and I'll say it mess, that's surrounding right now with J.J. McCarthy and whoever is the replacement. A couple more here. This is always Mr. Izzo. Mr. Izzo's my dad. How do you like Denver's odds to win the men's tournament? I do like Denver's odds. They have got UND out of the chute. That's the late game tomorrow night, which stay up for that one. That will be fun. And if they are able to get by UND, which is UND won 10 games, and each team won on the other's floor. UND won at Denver in a crazy game. UND's going to have to score in the mid-80s to win because Denver will put it up. Defensively, they've actually been better. When they came to Fargo, they played their best defensive game of the season. That was the knock on Bergstrasser's team, is that they couldn't stop anybody. I like their chances there. Then, if it's St. Thomas and Denver in the semifinal game, let's go. Denver beat St. Thomas in Denver. That clinched the league championship for the Bison outright a couple Saturdays ago. There'll be some points scored in that game if that comes to pass. We'll see. UND defensively, though, should not be taken lightly. Eli King was the Defensive Player of the Year. They can throw some things at Denver. We'll see. But if Carson Johnson, he loves Sioux Falls. Last year in Sioux Falls, you go back, I'll look this up in the break. For the 3 games that the Dragons played in Sioux Falls, Carson Johnson was amazing at the NSIC tournament. I know competition level is going to be different and better, but let's just say a couple of those guys are A-OK playing in Sioux Falls that are on Denver's roster. We'll see. That's the late game coming up tomorrow night. Let's break. We come back. We'll check in Jamestown. Our guy Sam Goetzinger will join us. He's going to preview the Class A girls basketball tournament. It's a live look inside the venerable Civic Center out in Jamestown. We'll start hour 2 of Hot Mic right after this.
This is Hot Mic. Hot Mic on the networks of WDAY. WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Let's take a moment and talk about bunions. The original line read as this: bunions. You may have heard of them. That was my original line.
Hey, thank you, Dom. Johnny Cool Guys there with the sunglasses on.
That was off the dome.
To the west of
when
Illinois.
I'm looking on it, like west. I shouldn't say right and left. Is that Missouri?
That is Missouri.
Yes.
That
it's
is
underneath
Missouri.
Iowa.
Oh,
I'm getting good at this.
he's coming.
So we're going to like the bottom peninsula region.
Peninsula.
Okay, we're going to come back on the ETSU tailgate and then go to you. How am I going to go from a tailgate to bunions?
Okay, good deal.
Let's take a moment and talk about bunions.
Well, here it is. It's Thursday at 10 a.m. and we are split screen version today with our guy Sam Goetzinger, who begins his basketball journey in Jamestown, North Dakota. Sam will be on the call this weekend of the Class A girls basketball tournament along with Holly Johnson, the pride of Minot. They get going later today at 1 o'clock right here on Extra. You have some breaking news to share to start the show?
You and I were playing through injuries today. I woke up this morning, turned on the show, saw you fall down. I had to go get some toothpaste across the street. There's no way there's that much ice out there. I took one step past the awning here at our hotel, and I was down like a sack of potatoes. So I got a bruised tailbone, if I had to guess. You know, I'm not a doctor, but we're going to fight through it today.
Oh, man. I'm sorry. I don't think we're going to be alone in that.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got a bruised ulnar collateral ligament. For anyone that knows the baseball pitchers, is what I've got. It's data, and that's what when I saw Jory on the bus and there's blue sky and sun. I'm like, is he in a different continent? Like, what is going? He's not that far away from us.
I was jealous watching that, seeing the sun streak down on him. Like, what's up with that? We got fog here. Man. I can't even see the Walmart behind us.
All right, well, here we go. We got 4 games on tap today. We'll give a look here at the bracket. We're going to visit with Cory MacIver from South Prairie after you wrap up here. But give us the field here. What do we expect out of the 8 teams that have made it to Jamestown?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting field. I think the top 3 seeds are really intriguing with South Prairie Max, Thompson, who will play in that first game against Rugby, which is a rematch of last year's quarterfinal game. Rugby's having a good year. That second game is really intriguing.
Yeah.
With Devils Lake, the record may not be the greatest thing in the world, hence they're the 6th seed, but they battled their way in, and they got into the state tournament. They have championship experience. And them going up against Valley City, I watched Valley City a couple of times in the regular season, and I think that's that team has probably the most depth when you go between their starting 5 and the ability to play 8-9 players off of the bench and all have scoring capability. That's a really intriguing team to watch. I think that game in general, it was close when they played really, really early in the year. I think the first game of the year. So I'm interested about that. South Prairie Max is very good. And then Watford City and Hazen, I'll put those two together because they're Western teams.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't played a lot of other teams that are in the field like some of the more Eastern school has, but both of those teams really like what they have with their program. So I'll be curious to see what those two bring to Jamestown, making the longer road trips. And then Kindred's probably the most interesting story out of this field.
Yeah.
You guys had Sam on not too long ago, just having 8 players, and 2 are elite.
Yes.
Sierra Nipstad and Liza Trenbeth are just elite players, both averaging over 25 points per game. I'll be really curious to see how they manage their legs, manage foul trouble, and, as the 4 seed, what they can do in this tournament. So I think all around it's intriguing. I think we're in for a good day today.
So Valley City, I thought, was presumed as maybe the favorite. I know South Prairie was number 1 all year, and then Valley City got beat in the region tournament and had to go through the state qualifier to get there. Should we not take them lightly, knowing what Valley City brings to the table?
Yeah, I think I was talking with Jimmy Howard, their head coach, earlier this week about, what kind of happened this season. Obviously, they still had a really good record, and of course, it's got them the 3 seed. There's a lot of pressure that comes with winning a first state title and then most of your team coming back. And the vibe was the girls felt that pressure at the beginning of the season. And he was telling me through the region tournament, because I believe it was Central Cass, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, and they lost their opening game of the region tournament, and then they played Wahpeton in the second game of the region. And then that's when they kind of flipped the switch and realized, hey, we're too tight. We need to remember that this is a game and we need to have fun. And then they started doing that. And, of course, that led into one crazy state qualifier game against Carrington, and they pulled out the win there. And now I think they're playing looser, which is exactly what you want going into state tournament time. So, yeah, they're definitely a dangerous team.
We had Jason Bren, the head coach of Thompson, on a few weeks ago. Thompson always seems like the bridesmaid. They are always there. They're always to be heard from, always to be a contender. Do they have the team that can maybe win 3 games in 3 days?
I think so. Of course, there's 2 names leading the charge that we've been hearing for the last 5 years now, and Kaya Hurst and Addie Sage. And Addie's going to play collegiate ball up here in Jamestown, too. I think so. It sounds like they have some height now. He was joking with me that they finally have a 6-footer on their roster for the first time in many years. So he was very excited about that. Besides that, they've always been a younger team. Like I mentioned, Kaya Hurst, Addie Sage have been playing since 8th graders. They've always had sophomores, juniors, and they've graduated some talent from a year ago, but they bring back a ton of this roster. And now that they're older, you can tell by the seniors on this team, they really want to get it done this season. And I think they're a strong candidate to win 3 games.
Well, I'm going to get the cart before the horse. If we have a Thompson Valley City game tomorrow night, let's go. That'd be all right there if that's a semifinal game tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Valley City is actually staying up here in Jamestown, too.
Really?
Despite being, what is it, 38 minutes away from their high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're staying here for the experience, so they're not trekking back and forth. But I know the crowds are going to be great for everybody. I know Kindred always travels well. Thompson, Devils Lake's going to travel well. You name it. I'm sure the Western schools are going to bring a bunch of people. So it's going to be fun tomorrow.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because this is the first time that the A division has been in Jamestown, and that's something that I know I've discussed on the show, and I'm not going to throw you under the bus. I've said it that I'm not sure hotels are ready for it. B, it's bigger. It's bigger crowds. It's bigger towns. What have you seen so far, or at least heard about teams coming in for this tournament?
Oh, well, so far from my observations, it's been fairly quiet. We got in yesterday. We were over at the Civic Center getting stuff ready, and then we went out to dinner last night. And I didn't see a ton of people, around. Of course, the town is ready to go. There's signs up welcoming, tournament participants and fans of the tournament and everything like that to the local establishments. So, but yes, I think the general consensus is not just between you and I, but between the coaches and the teams and the fan bases are. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. They've handled the B with the girls for the last couple of years, but as you mentioned, it's just a different population group that's coming up here. I think the venue itself, they're going to be just fine. They got the kinks out for maybe that first year, a couple of years back on running the tournament again. I think they've got that all handled out. I'm pretty sure the space will be big enough. I guess we'll have to see once we get to semis and championships, because that's when it fills up a whole lot more on how that's going to be. Like the floor itself at the Jamestown Civic Center and the setup is fine. But yes, from what I've been told by the teams, I think hotels has been curious, not so much for the teams, but for their fan bases in finding places to stay. Are people going to have to go back and forth each day? I know some teams have been what are we going to do? Is our bowling alley we can do to kill all this time, and there's only so much, I imagine, in Jamestown. I haven't done the full look around on, what do you do to kill that time before 1 o'clock today? They got shoot-arounds, and I'm sure they'll have shoot-arounds beforehand, but we got the late semis tomorrow. And then I know it's the early championship and third place game, but it's fairly later in the day. I think that's the burning question is what are we going to do leading up by the time we check out of the hotel, by the time the game starts. And everybody said, we'll see how it goes this year, and then we'll make our final judgment. So we'll see.
I think you're spot on that, because I've heard that as well with what are we doing between, when everybody gets up till 6:30 at night tomorrow for the teams that are playing. It's one thing if you're playing in the consolation semis tomorrow at 1 and 3 o'clock. It's another thing, what are we doing all day between Minot, for whatever you want to say about it, Minot's got them all. There are things to just Jamestown, I love it, but I don't know. I don't have an answer on what you do.
I will say some of the coaches have told me they miss going to, and this is their words, not mine, the exotic Minot. And I don't know if I would ever classify Minot as exotic, but that's just me. They do miss going to, maybe a bigger town that has a mall or some other stuff going on. Hopefully Jamestown can pleasantly surprise everybody. But I remember last year we had the late third place and championship game for the B. And you can only hang out at Johnny B's downtown for so long, I think we were there for 3, maybe 4 hours. Just hanging out, waiting for everything to happen. So
now,
we'll see.
You posted yesterday when you arrived at Jamestown that you got Quiznos. In Jamestown. How many Quiznos are actually left in this country? I didn't know there was any left.
There's got to be none. I think ever since this has been the running gag for me ever since I started at this station, 4 years ago now, whenever I come to Jamestown, I remember the first time I came to Jamestown, I was driving down and I saw a Quiznos and I lost my mind. I'd never been to Quiznos before. We don't have those in southern Minnesota. That's not a thing. I wasn't around when it was in Fargo, and it turns out this is the only one in North Dakota, so it's a historical landmark in my eyes. So I forced the crowd of the car I was in. We have to go to Quiznos to get lunch. There's got to be, what if we looked it up in the commercial break? There's got to be less than 100,
according to AI, it says approximately 148 to 150 operating in the United States.
Wow. And Jamestown's
got one. So there you go.
One of the lucky ones. It's great. I mean, it was packed. We got there around noon yesterday. It was packed to the brim. We had to wait in line and everything. It was. It's a sandwich. I'm not going to say it's the greatest sandwich of all time, but it got the job done.
So California and Washington apparently lead with 14 locations each, followed by Florida and Texas. And then slipping in at the bottom is North Dakota with 1, evidently.
At least there's 1. How many are in Minnesota? There's got to be none, right?
Eric, you look that up for me here. We got other fish to fry, including this email. Dom and Sam, with the Minnesota State hockey tournament starting today, a question occurred to me. When was the last time the North Dakota State champion beat the Minnesota State champion to my memory, was 1990 when Red River defeated the eventual Minnesota champion Roseau. If the Spuds win, Central might be the only one since 1990 to accomplish that feat, having beaten the Spuds in Moorhead this year. I only bring that up. You called that game. Obviously, you called last week with Central winning. We got the AA starting today. That Central team was something else. We talked about it right after they had beaten Moorhead, that they had the makings of a title team.
Oh, absolutely. That game, the one in the middle of the year that went into overtime, I was calling it with Dean Wilson, who was also helping us out with the state tournament. And both him and I looked at each other and said that was one of the best high school hockey games that we've seen in a long time, just based off of skill and the dramatics to it going into overtime, and then Central pulling out the upset win. They were unbelievable. And they went into the state tournament last week and just ran the show. It was impressive. From the 10-goal game in the semis to put 73 shot, or the quarters to 73 shots in the semis to a goal in the first 10 seconds in the championship, they were unbelievable. As for an answer there, I don't know for sure, but that does sound right. Now, I do know that when Dean Wilson was coaching with, his really good Fargo South teams, he made it a point to play the top teams in Minnesota, like the teams down in the Metro, not just Moorhead. So I don't know if there was some crossover there, if they ever had any luck, because he always tells me his goal was to be the number one team, not just in North Dakota, but in Minnesota. That means beating whoever was going to be the potential state championship or champion over there. So I don't know if there's something in the mid to early 2000s, but if that's the case, hats off to Grand Forks Central. That's a really good team they had this year.
A couple last things. I know you made it a habit of attending the state hockey tournament, especially on day one. What's today like for people that have never gone? Maybe for Moorhead fans, they're going to make it down there later today. What's day one like?
Oh, it's awesome. I think every day. What I like is it's not a build up to the championship. Obviously, the championship, there's a lot on the line, but crowd-wise, you're going to get quite the crowd quarterfinal day. You're going to get that same crowd on the semifinal day, and you're going to get it again on the championship, which is it's super cool. I like seeing the communities represented that maybe aren't in the field, but they're going just to watch hockey. You get to see every single jersey in the state of Minnesota around. It's such a unique experience, and the hockey is always really, really good. Of course, I went a ton when I was in high school, so I guess a networking opportunity, if you will. It's just hanging out with people you haven't seen before, and shooting the breeze with them. It's super cool, and just the whole pomp and circumstance that area of St. Paul puts together to get you ready for that. It's really fun. So if you're going down for the first time, enjoy it. It's awesome. You may need to wait in line for hours. I've done that plenty of times, where you're sitting there. You gotta leave one game in the second period to get ready for the third game, and you're gonna miss the second game altogether just waiting for a ticket. So it's quite the deal. You'll get in the door, but you might need to wait a little bit.
Give me your thoughts here. I'm heading down to Sioux Falls. Which Bison team has the better chance to win it this weekend?
I think the girls, or the women, I should say. I think they got a shot. I say that just because the men's side, there's a lot more parity to it. There's a lot more, dark horses, if you will, or like St. Thomas is really good. Don't count out Denver. Omaha is really good too. I think there's a lot more teams like that on the men's side than there are on the women's side. I think the women, it's going to come down to who's going to be. It's going to be potentially North Dakota State, South Dakota State, and who comes away with that title is going to do it. So we'll see. So I think the women got the best shot.
All right, Eric, what do we got? What's the answer? 3 in Minnesota?
Really?
3.
I did not know
Plymouth, Shoreview, and Woodbury.
What was the first one?
Plymouth.
Yeah. Of course.
Cake eaters.
Of course.
So
exactly.
I have to have it. So another concern email, because you got hand delivered. You got cough drops delivered to you last week at the Shack. Do you have them still?
This one here, this bag. I got another bag in here.
Because
the hot water and
we had people that wanted
cocktail.
They wanted to know if that worked for you last week.
Oh, it was great. It was great. These ones were really good. I got these during the Bison women's game.
Okay.
I put about half the bag in one thing of hot water before the championship, and it worked like a charm. It was fantastic. So thank you to our loyal listeners for helping me out. I know you had some too.
I did, yes.
It's getting us through the weeks, that's for sure.
Have a great call today. Today's always the tough one. It's 4 games. It's a lot. It's nothing like hockey like you did last week, because this is actually, we're probably stealing today because basketball is way easier to call than hockey, but it's still a long day. So we'll look forward to seeing you on TV later today. Have a great time this weekend. I'll see you when I see you, okay?
Yeah, it might be a couple months down the road, but I'll be back.
Here. Sounds good, bud. Have a great call, all right?
See you later.
There you go. Sam Goetzinger joining us each and every Thursday live on location in Jamestown. He and Holly Johnson will be on the call of the Class A. As again, we'll throw this up here. The games begin at 1 o'clock today. Those are on Extra today. 1 o'clock, 2:45, 6:30 tonight at 8:15 for the Class A girls. Tomorrow, the semifinals will be on WDAY. They'll be tomorrow night at 6:30. The Class B semis will be during the day on WDAY at 1 o'clock from Minot, where Ryan McNamara will be having the call out there with Lynette of the girls Class B tipping off from the Minot State Dome. But here from the Jamestown Civic Center, 1 o'clock today on Extra, then tomorrow 6:30. And then Championship Saturday starts with the third place game on WDAY at 3, and then the title game to follow at about 5 o'clock. And then we'll lead you right into the Class B title game from Minot, tip time about 8 from the lovely Minot State Dome to wrap up officially the Class A and B girls basketball season. We still have the Double A, which we'll find out the teams that make that starting today and tomorrow. The WDA tournament. I got a viewer out in Bismarck saying, hey, you're forgetting the best tournament of them all, which is the WDA. That starts today, and I've been out there for it. I can verify it is 3 awesome days of basketball starting at the Event Center in Bismarck. Our thanks to Sam, and hopefully he has a great call out there in Jamestown starting later today. Let's break. We come back. Got a few minutes here. We'll catch up on a couple other emails. Back in our poll question as well. Cory MacIver from South Prairie Max will join us at about 10:35 to preview his Royals being number 1 in Class A. We're back on Hot Mic after this. Welcome back, everybody. This is the scene yesterday at Horizon Middle School in South Moorhead as Spuds got a royal send-off. Moorhead's hockey team getting ready to play later tonight. Spuds will go at about 6:20 for their game against Lakeville South. The Double-A tournament drops the puck here at the top of the hour with the first of 4 games. If the Spuds win, they would likely get a Dyna, which would be a rematch, of course, of a game played last year. At the state tournament, the Spuds beat Edina in the semifinals on their way to the state championship. Of course, be a rematch of the state football championship game that was played in November at U.S. Bank Stadium, won by the Hornets. I imagine there's still some leftover feelings there between both those schools. But you got to win the first game. Minnetonka is the number 1 overall seed. They play in that first game coming up here at the top of the hour. I got an email in from a great friend yesterday, and he said you can absolutely use this on the show. Former Bison All-American, the pride of Beach, North Dakota, Landon Leckler, who I've known since he was, a junior in high school, and he was throwing against Jack Plankers at the state track meet and the shot put. Both guys obviously went on, played side by side next to each other for NDSU. Landon was the Missouri Valley Offensive Player of the Week after his performance against the University of Iowa when the Bison won. Kid from 9-man football. Didn't allow a sack in that game. Anyway, he sent me this photo of his daughter yesterday saying with the caption, "My daughter got her pants fashioned from Dom with the mustard pants. Hope you're well and love the show." Let me see if we can get the caption in there too. There it is. That's fantastic. First off, she's beautiful. And second, yes, there's nothing wrong with the mustard pants. Looks great. Great to hear from Landon. One of Mike Zier's proteges there that Coach Zier obviously coached out in Beach. Appreciate Landon, and thanks for watching every day, buddy. That's awesome. Good stuff there. I'm telling you, it's part of a fashion trend. The mustard pants are literally in the suitcase in my car, ready to head to Sioux Falls. That'll be the second thing I hear about when I get there. The first thing is going to be the fall that happened this morning. I guarantee that'll be topic number 1. that gets discussed when I arrive at the Premier Center. Other than what Eric and I have endured the couple times we've gone down, whether it be somebody driving on the wrong side of I-29, because that happened coming back from Sioux Falls, or whatever odd weather will happen when we get near Summit, South Dakota as well, which on a day like today, it could be going from that. Maybe that's where the transformation happens, from fog and you can't see anything to crystal clear skies, and people are wondering what the heck you're complaining about. Maybe that's on the other end of that today. I'm imagining that's the case. Let's do a couple other things here before we break. Latest bracketology updated. Bison men, 14 seed, facing Iowa State. As of 3, that game would be in St. Louis. That's on the men's side. Women's bracketology of the Bison as an 11 seed, facing Alabama in Fort Worth, Texas. Of note, on the women's bracketology, the last 4 in, first 4 out has South Dakota State there. And that will be the topic, however this turns out, come Monday morning after the Summit League tournament. If the Bison men or women do not win it, do they get an at-large bid? If the South Dakota State women do not win it, do they get an at-large bid? The only way they will be considered, each have got to make the championship game. If either somehow get upset between today or Saturday, that conversation is donezo. I think the Bison chances took a huge hit by losing to the Jackrabbits last week. That's just and you saw it in the net rankings. It reflected that. If they were to lose again, if you were to lose twice to the Jacks in a 10-day span, I don't think the committee will take them. Even if their record would be 28-4. That's what North Dakota State's record would be. If they win 2 games today and Saturday, get you to 28 wins, and you lose on Sunday to South Dakota State, I don't see them getting in at 28-4, which sounds lunacy, but other teams with stronger net rankings have been left out. We've researched it. We've talked about it. You got to win. Do not leave it in the hands of the committee, or else I think you're heading to the WBIT. Let's break. We come back. We'll chat some Class A girls hoops. The number 1 seed is South Prairie Max. Their head coach, Cory MacIver, will join us from Jamestown as they get set to open up play tonight. That's coming up when we return. Welcome back, everybody. It's a live look here at the Civic Center in Jamestown as shoot-arounds going on. Games begin at 1 o'clock. The Class A tournament for the first time in Jamestown. Last 2 years, the B has been there. The Class A girls tipping off later today right here on WDAY Extra. One of those teams is actually doing a shoot-around right now. We're bugging the head coach. It's Cory MacIver, the head coach of the South Prairie Max Royals, who joins us. If you need to break away and go anytime, you go for it, man. I don't want to take you away.
No, I'm good. I'm good, Dom. I like I told you before we went on, I got 2 really good assistant coaches, and Megan Johnson, Carson Hager. They're, I told them I was going to have to sneak away and talk to Dom on TV. So they're taking practice for her right now, and down at the college. So we're kind of in full swing. We're ready to go.
Tell me about this season. You guys have had that either number 1 ranking or perceived as the number 1 team all year. How has the team handled that?
Surprisingly well, Dom. I'm going to be honest with you. When that first poll came out and we were preseason number 1, hadn't played a game yet, and then went to Carrington and played a really good Carrington team, well-coached team that, a shame that they're not in this here in Jamestown with us. But, they've given us that first loss of the year. It hurt, that hurts a little bit, when you're looked as the team that's, the cream of the crop in the A division. And you drop that first game. There can be some there's obviously some question marks. Are we as good as what people say we are? And I give credit to our girls. They rallied around that loss and strung together 23 straight there after that first loss, and really kind of that first week really kind of was a tipping point, really, if you want to look back at it, because we didn't have a whole lot of time to dwell on that loss, because we got home, and then the next day we were in Kenmare playing a really good Kenmare team coached by Mike Zimmer, who I know pretty well too. So we didn't have a whole lot of time to dwell on it, and I kind of made a challenge to the girls in the locker room at Carrington, like, hey, we got 3 games left this week. Our goal Saturday when we're done playing Thompson is we want to be 3-1, and our girls stuck to it, and we ended up 3-1, and then we just went on a run after that. So the number one, being the number one team in the state it's an honor. I mean, there's some pretty good teams in our division. You know it as well as anybody else. So you have to be ready to play every night. And I kind of told those girls that too. And like, nobody's, just because you're the number one team, nobody's they're not gonna, bend over backwards for you. You're gonna have to go out and earn those wins, because teams are going to give you their very best. And we've seen some pretty good teams both in our region and non-region games too. We've had some good challenges along the way. So these girls are playing really well right now. And we're just going to enjoy the ride here these next 3 days.
The fact that you've played, I'm counting, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, you played 4 teams that are at state already. How much does that muscle memory have in the back of your mind? You've already played half the field.
Yeah. We talked about it a little. We opened up with Watford City, who we played beginning of January. So we went back and watched that film a little bit. And obviously we're a different team from January 2nd when we played Watford City, but then so are they. I mean, they're here at the state tournament for a reason, and they beat an awfully good Turtle Mountain team in that state qualifying game, and they had to earn that win too. So they're going to be hungry. I mean, it's going to be that 1-8 is just as good as any other game in this opening round. And so any team, if they get hot and they get going, it's going to be a dogfight, and that's one thing our girls have really responded well to. They know they're going to get the very best from Watford City today, and we have to be ready to go for to accept any wrinkles or anything that they're going to throw our way.
Cory, you guys have been at state the last couple of years. Again, how much do you count on that experience? I know it's a different venue, different city, different teams. Can you rely on that or no?
I think so. I think we've, like you said, this is the 3rd year in a row that we've been to the state tournament. We're one of 4 teams that can stake that claim. So, and we've played in some pretty important games in those states. We dropped that heartbreaker to Devil's Lake in that first year in the championship game. Valley City gets the best of us last year in the semifinals, and we were able to bounce back and defeat Devil's Lake for 3rd place. We had a really good semifinal game with Thompson that first round or that first year. So. The fact that we've played in that spotlight, the evening games, the games that are televised, those high pressure ones, these girls are comfortable, and the fact that it's been the same core for the last 3 years, I think that's even is a little less stress. If you want, if a head coach wants less stress, I guess, in the state tournament, we can rely on the fact that our starting 5 has been the starting 5 from the first year we were at a state tournament to this year. So, they know what's going to need to be done. I think there was a sense of urgency even in our region tournament. I mean, I talked to the girls at the beginning of the year and said, hey, people throughout the state have looked at our program as one of the top programs in our division. Yet going into this year, we hadn't won a region title and we hadn't won a state title yet. People are putting us as the number 1 team in the state. Yeah. So we still had some things to prove, and we were able to check the box off at getting a region title last week. And I said, that's one box that we've been able to check off. And so now we have to go out and get that state title that's been eluding us for the last couple of years. And so I especially these 4 seniors, I think they've realized that this is their last go round, and they're going to give it everything they got. I saw a different look in their eyes in the region tournament that I hadn't seen the last 2 years, and so I'm pretty excited about what these next 3 days are in store for us.
For people that have watched our show, your standout player, Riley Rutledge, as she came on our show, and she committed to NDSU on our show. Tell us about what kind of player, if fans have not seen her play yet, Cory, are going to get a chance maybe for the first time, what kind of player she is and potentially can be at the next level for the Bison.
Dom, in Riley, you're going to see almost as a complete player, and I don't like throwing that term around very often, but as far as a complete player that you're going to see at the high school level, she can score she can score at will. You leave her open, she's gonna hit some threes on you, but she can take you off the drive, and she likes to attack the basket. Defensively, though, she's been all over the place this year. She's leads the team in steals, leads the team in rebounds, is second in assists behind Macy Tyler. That's going to be a fun little battle. They're one assist between each other for the team lead this year. So you're going to see a lot of hopefully see a lot of sharing the basketball around this weekend. But as far as Riley, I mean, she's a gym rat. She's in the gym all the time. She'll she'll get there. I know we had a shoot around practice on Sunday, and she was down in the gym after we were done shooting around there. She's about as dedicated to the sport as you can get, and I think you guys in Fargo and NDSU are getting one heck of a player, and I think you're going to be that coaching staff and that fan base is going to be awfully pleased about the player they're going to get. I'm fortunate enough I get her for one more year after this year, and then she's all yours after that. But for all due respect, we're going to hang on to her for another year and let her develop even more. And she's not the only one, Dom. We've got some other athletes too. Senior class this year, Scotty Beck, our senior athlete of the year, all region for the last 3 years, all state tournament team the last couple of years. She's committed to Minot State. Macy Talbot's going to feel right at home this weekend. She's committed to Jamestown, so that's going to be a fun little rivalry watching Scotty and Macy in the Northern Sun. And then we have another senior in Bree Rose that is not going to play basketball, but she's committed to UND to run track. Her dad was a pretty good track athlete at Dickinson State. So we've got 4 girls in our starting 5 that are going to be have committed to play some college sports here in the next couple of years. So we're just embracing it. We're enjoying the ride. This is a special group of girls. In our case, in South Prairie, that doesn't come around very often. So we enjoy it while we can, and we know that this is the last hurrah for 4 of these girls, and they're gonna go out and they're gonna put on a show for people. I think people will be very excited and pleased on what kind of performance we give this weekend.
Couple last things here. Now, the last couple of years, you've had the easy trip. You were in Minot. What's the fan base going to be? What do you expect for today and this weekend?
Well, I've been out at South Prairie since 2019, and the one thing that I've told people is it doesn't matter if it's a football game, it's a girls basketball game, volleyball, speech, drama, whatever it is. Our fans are awfully loyal to our activities at South Prairie. So I anticipate there'd be a lot of people coming down from the Minot area in royal blue and white, and it's going to be a fun time. And like you said, the last couple of years we've been playing in our backyard at the Dome, and we've been able to, the girls have been able to stay in their homes and sleep in their own beds, and so to stay in a hotel, it's a little different, but that's part of the experience. We hear that all the time. Let these kids experience staying in a hotel for a couple days, and the big thing is just get them up at a good time and get them fed. Like I said, we had the shoot around at the Civic Center already. We're at the college right now with another shoot around. We're going to head back to the hotel and relax a little bit, and then head to the Civic Center, take in the afternoon games, and then have a bite to eat, and then we'll be ready to go tonight. So we're just enjoying the experience, really. But we also know that we're on we got a job to do, and we're going to go out and put 3 good games together, and hopefully at the Saturday evening at 7:00 that we're hoisting some hardware.
I was last thing was looking over your staff. One of your assistants is Carson Hager, and this makes me feel old. I called Carson's games when she was playing at Rugby, who nearly beat Kindred way back in 2019 at the Betty, one of the great all-time Class B championship games. What has she brought to your staff? And obviously, Rugby's there at the Class A as well this week.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. It's been fun to have Carson on staff. She's taken, the girls, they've known her for the past couple of years, not only at Rugby, but she was the assistant coach at Thompson for the last couple of years too. So they've got that connection with Thompson in town as well. So just to have her on staff has been good. This is the first year she's been with us, and the girls have really taken to her. She gets along with them. She's almost like one of the team, one of the girls as far as the team goes, and we're actually staying in the same hotel as Thompson. So
nice.
we had a nice little breakfast with that coaching staff, and to see her interact with them too. I know that she's gonna, she was awfully excited when we played Rugby this year in the region, and we played Thompson at the beginning of the year. So I would think if we match up with either one of those 2 teams in this weekend, I think she'll probably be more nervous and jitters than I will. But she's a nice addition to have, because playing in the region, knowing the teams that we play in, playing at the college level too. She knows what it takes to get to that level, so these girls have a nice resource with her as far as that goes. But she's a great one. Megan Johnson, our other assistant coach, is really good too, really energetic. She's kind of the fashionista of the, don't be surprised in some of the outfits that you see from her this weekend too. I know she tries to get me to kind of go out my comfort zone a little bit too, and and I kind of am a little hesitant on that. But don't be surprised if we have a little something in store on Saturday if the opportunity arises a little bit. But great 2 assistant coaches. I couldn't ask for better ones for that. So we're just excited as a staff for these girls to see what we can accomplish this weekend.
This was great, bud. Thanks so much for doing this. Good luck tonight. Appreciate it. We'll talk soon, okay?
All right, thanks a lot, Dom. Appreciate it.
Cory MacIver, head coach of South Prairie Max, the girls basketball team. The Royals are the number 1 seed. They will play later tonight against Watford City. You'll see that here on WDAY Extra at 6:30, part of our night coverage. Daytime coverage begins at 1 o'clock with the first game with those Thompson Tommies getting things started right here on Extra. All right, we'll take our final break. We come back. I got to get going here, so we got to wrap up the show. Catch the car ride down to Sioux Falls. We'll get you ready for a great Sports Thursday that's on tap. We'll wrap up Hot Mike right after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Wrapping things up on a busy Thursday. Hey, tomorrow we'll be live in Sioux Falls come hell or high water. If the Bison win or lose, we're going to be doing our show tomorrow from Sioux Falls. NDSU Athletic Director Matt Larson will join us. Potentially, can he break the football schedule on our show? That'd be nice. We're going to be joined by SDSU AD Justin Sell as well. Variety of big-time guests. We're excited. Oh, I love going down there. It's always a chance to reconvene with people we haven't seen either in a year. Some we've seen more sooner than that. I'm intrigued to get, to me specifically, the reaction from some of the other ADs on, especially that are sharing the Missouri Valley Football Conference with North Dakota State, the move to the FBS, and specifically SDSU, USD, and their reaction from there. Frankly, I really hope we're going to try and get Phil Eston as well, St. Thomas's AD, with everything swirling around UST, the opportunity to make the tournament for the first time. They've opened up beer sales now at their new arena, how that's all the excitement around them this year. And frankly, if anybody comes to Sioux Falls, because the last few years, I really thought maybe this was pie in the sky. Clearly it has been, because St. Thomas has not had really anybody come. We talked about that with Justin Gard back on Tuesday's show, that we have not seen it. Do they come this year now that they're eligible? We'll see tonight. Tickets may be hard to come by. They're playing the Jackrabbits, which we know, even if they're under 500 like SDSU is on the men's side, that will still be well attended for the game tonight. So we'll have a bunch of good stuff coming up on the show tomorrow, on top of trying to package everything that went down today, whether it's in St. Paul with the state hockey tournament, Minot with the girls Class B, Jamestown with the girls Class A, or the EDC tournament as well going on up at the Shack. Speaking of the Shack, the normal occupants are gone. They're in Sioux Falls. Our poll question today that I posted yesterday, because I wanted to get some run on it, and I wanted to read some of the reactions to our poll question, were frankly to NDSU fans, why would you not go? Why are you not going to the Summit League tournament this year? And we got some really good responses on this. I'm going to read a few of them, and then we'll see what the poll results are. Work deadlines on major projects. Refuse to go until they move it out of Sioux Falls. It's basically the Jackrabbit Invitational. It's a huge disadvantage to all the other teams. Omaha, Kansas City, and the Twin Cities should all get a chance to host it. One was bored with winning. The correct answer is because it's Sioux Falls. We'll be out the door early Sunday if both NDSU teams make the final. The Summit has not done enough to incentivize going otherwise. A lot of say they'll watch on television. We heard that. Let's see a couple others. What does everyone have against Sioux Falls? They run a good tournament. We're on our way. We wouldn't miss it. My granddaughter plays for DGF in the Section 8 AA Section Championship game Friday night. I'm going to try and be in Sioux Falls on Saturday and Sunday. And I get it. There's a lot of things happening. We threw out Too Far Away as one of the poll results as well. That got 31%. Too Many Things Happening got 37%. The fact that Too Far Away got 32% is preposterous, people. Come on. Let's do some What to Watch before we get out of here. My goodness. All right, so again, a reminder, Class A girls coming up here on Extra at 1. The Class B girls on WDAY, that coverage begins at 1 o'clock as well. The EDC tournament, you can stream that. That coverage begins at 2 o'clock. That's exclusive streaming on WDAY+. Also today, you've got both Bison teams playing at 2:30 and 6 o'clock. Those games are on Midco. The Wolves tonight in action against the Raptors at 7 on FanDuel Sports North. If you're walking out there, be careful, everybody. Don't slip like I did. Safe travels, everyone, to Sioux Falls. I'll see you there later today and tomorrow for Hot Mike. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you back here tomorrow.